Through the cracks in the porch floorboards, I saw a face watching us from underneath the cabin. That was Labor Day weekend, and we were never supposed to be there. This is Mr. H. You're listening to Masked Horror. The cabin that wasn't on the map. I remember driving through the endless stretch of forest roads one evening on a Labor Day, heading toward what I thought was a cheap cabin getaway. Anything to escape the crowds. My girlfriend and I spotted it just when the sun was sinking. A tidy, weathered A-frame nestled off a dirt side road. The host's photos weren't fantastic, but the place looked rustic charming in person. Plus, at half the price of anything else nearby, sign us up. That first night, a thunderstorm rolled in. We huddled in the tiny living room, started a fire in the old fireplace, trying to make it romantic. But then I noticed something weird. The ashes in the fireplace were fresh, still dark, slightly warm, and smelled like smoke, even though we hadn't lit it yet. At first, I blamed a draft through the chimney, but then I saw the logs neatly stacked on one side, not where we had left them. I shrugged it off, cabin quirks, right? But the second night, things got weirder. Our food vanished from the counter. A can of beans I left in the pantry turned up on the coffee table. At 3 a.m., my girlfriend shook me awake. "Listen," she whispered. "Someone's breathing outside." I froze, strained my ears against the rain. At first, just silence, then soft, deliberate footsteps circling the cabin. I jumped up and yanked the curtain. Nothing, just rain-slicked glass and dark trees beyond. We called the host, but it went straight to voicemail. It was late, so we figured maybe they were asleep. But in the morning, we tried again, and still nothing. That's when we looked up the listing for more details, and it was gone, like it never existed. We called the rental company. They checked and told us flat out, "We don't manage any properties in that area." What? That didn't make sense. So, whose place were we in? Looking back, we should have just left, but we had already paid and we were trying not to overreact, so we stayed. By the third night, I was on edge. I started poking around the cabin more. That's when I found a small, unmarked door behind the pantry. It led to a low crawl space, dusty, insulated, thick with cobwebs. I followed the dim glow of my phone's flashlight deeper. But there weren't pipes or wires under there. There were tunnels, hidden corridors behind the walls, under the floors. Cramped, dark, just wide enough for someone to crawl through. And then I saw light ahead. A room, or maybe more than one, makeshift beds, old bottles, a toothbrush, a jacket. Someone had been living down there, or still was. I slithered back and slammed the door shut, hands shaking. We packed immediately this time. We called the police as we drove off. They said they'd look into it, but they didn't sound too concerned. One last thing I'll never forget. As we pulled away, our headlights passed over the porch. Through the cracks in the floorboards, I saw a face. Just for a second, watching us from under the cabin. We never looked back. The Labor Day weekend shift. I never volunteer for holiday overtime, especially not Labor Day weekend. But that year, the pay was ridiculous, like double what I usually get. So I figured, why not? Easy shift, barely anyone in the warehouse. It was just me, the night security guard, and a maintenance guy doing rounds up on the upper level. The place was dead quiet, like so quiet you could hear your own blood moving. No machines, no trucks, just silence, the kind that messes with your head. Around 2 a.m., I was walking the back corridor and saw the forklift at the far end of the loading dock. Its lights suddenly blinked on, and it started rolling forward, slow, like someone had nudged it. No one was near it. At first, I thought maybe the floor had a slope I'd never noticed, but then, right as I turned to walk away, I heard that noise. Static, loud, violent static, coming from the break room. I sprinted over. The TV was on full blast, blasting white noise like it was stuck between channels. I yanked the plug straight out of the wall. That's when this feeling hit me, like I was being watched. I walked fast, not running, just fast enough to convince myself I wasn't scared, back to my station near the warehouse entrance. And then I saw it. Someone was standing on the upper catwalk across from me, just barely lit by the emergency exit sign flickering behind them. The safety vest caught the light. They were leaning on the railing, watching me. I stared back, trying to show confidence, just in case anything was about to go down. I tried to make out their face, but I couldn't see much. And then, they were gone. Like blink and they vanish gone. I won't even lie, I panicked. Something like that has never happened to me before, especially not at the warehouse. I ran straight to the security office and told the guy on duty what I saw. He barely looked up from his phone, but agreed to check the cameras. Most of the footage showed nothing out of the ordinary. Forklift still, break room empty, but then we saw a single, grainy frame. Just one. In that shot, something was above me. Not on the catwalk, on the ceiling beam, crouched up like a spider. It had a pale, stretched face, mouth open, eyes hollow. No whites, no iris, just black. And then it blinked out of frame, like it knew we were watching. I turned to the guard to say something, and he was already packing up. Said he had a family emergency and had to leave. Just like that. No hesitation, no lie. The maintenance guy never came back down. I called up a few times, even walked halfway to the stairs, but it felt like something didn't want me to go up there. I passed through the break room. The TV was still off, still unplugged, but it was warm. Static still crackling, faintly, from the speakers. I didn't clock out. I just grabbed my stuff and left through the back door. I only turned around once. The warehouse looked like a tomb, silent, blinking red emergency lights, casting shadows everywhere. And the forklift, it was on again. Engine idling, lights pointed right at the door I walked out of. I swear this happened. I know how it sounds. I get it. But I haven't stepped foot back in that place since. Honestly, after all that, I wasn't going to. Truth is, we all got fired for leaving early. The security guy and me. And the maintenance guy, I don't know. I never saw him again after that night. No one believed us, and honestly, I just hope I never see, or what I thought I saw, again. The missing guest. We rent out our spare room to help with bills. It's nothing fancy, just a clean, quiet space off the main hallway. Over the years, we've had students, nurses on short contracts, even a few friendly travelers. Never had a problem. This happened over Labor Day weekend. That year, a woman booked 2 nights. Her messages were brief, polite, but short. She arrived just before sunset, looking tired. Her hair was still damp, like she'd just come from a long hike or maybe a motel shower. She said nothing except thanks and disappeared into her room. We figured she was just quiet, exhausted maybe. The next morning, I knocked on the door to check if she needed anything. No answer. I waited a minute, then gently opened it. The room was untouched. Bed made. Suitcase in the same spot. Her phone charger plugged into the wall, but no phone. The window was shut, blinds drawn. Her car was still parked outside. We assumed she'd gone for a walk or into town, but by nightfall, she still hadn't come back. Day 2 passed, still nothing. By day 3, I started to get nervous. I checked again. Everything exactly the same. Suitcase zipped, clothes folded, no sign of use. No receipts, no food, nothing. Then I spotted her phone, partly under the bed. The screen was on. A photo of a woman and a little girl, maybe 6 years old. The girl was smiling. The woman's face was slightly blurred, like the camera had moved. I thought maybe it was her sister or niece. I called the number from the booking confirmation. A woman picked up. Older voice, soft, almost confused. I said, "Hi, I just had a few questions about someone who stayed with us." She interrupted. "My daughter disappeared 5 years ago, Labor Day weekend. She was staying at a hotel near you. The police never found her." I froze. "I think you might be mistaken." The name matched, but this was a grown woman, definitely not a child. There was a long silence. Then she said, "She never checked out." I felt it immediately. This awful, cold pressure in my chest. I didn't even hang up. I just ran to the guest room. The phone on the floor had changed. Same background. The little girl still smiling. But now, the woman's face was wrong. It was stretched, distorted. Her features looked like they were glitching, not blurry, pixelated like a corrupted image. I grabbed the suitcase, unzipped it. Inside were toys, a stuffed animal, crayons, school papers, and ID forms, all filled out by hand. Sloppy, uneven writing, like a kid had done it. The name matched the booking. I took everything to the police. They opened a case, but they found nothing. No ID theft, no record of a missing adult matching my mysterious guest description. No leads, no trail. Just the empty room, the suitcase, the phone that never turned back on. They told me to call if she came back, but she never did. We don't rent out our place anymore, and I still don't know what happened. Someone left something behind, intentionally or not. I will never know. All I know is something evil stayed here.